Welcome to Vintage Variety. Today I'm going to show you guys a new idea that I came up with for storing my collection of vintage and antique jewelry. I'm also going to show you guys the new room in my home that I recently redid to use as my YouTube studio. This is a room in my home that I'll be using not only to store my collection of jewelry, but also to record my YouTube videos. I did a lot of really great projects to go into this room, so not only will I be showing you some before and afters of the room, I'll also be showing you some before and after projects. I'm going to start out by showing you guys some before pictures of one of the spare bedrooms in my home. This is the room that I chose to use for my YouTube studio. I thought it would be a great idea to have a room where I could keep all of my jewelry collection along with all of my equipment for recording and doing my content. This room is a very dull color. It's kind of a tan or khaki color. So I needed to do something to brighten up the room for better lighting. Besides realizing that I was going to have to paint the room, I also knew that I would need a work surface such as a desk or a table. This is the table that I ended up purchasing, and it wasn't really what I wanted. Originally, I had found a beautiful desk in an antique store that I kind of had my heart set on, but it did not fit into my budget. I found this vintage enamel-topped table, and this one really did fit into my budget. This is probably from sometime between the 1930s or the 1940s, so it's technically not an antique. I decided that I would go ahead and purchase this, redo it, and try to make it look close to the item that I originally wanted. So basically turn it into a dupe of what I wanted. While I was in the process of redoing this desk, I came up with another idea, and that was for jewelry storage. I knew I needed something big enough to store the majority of my jewelry. And that's when I thought about this old highboy chest. This originally belonged to my daughter. It was something that had been stored in our garage. She no longer wanted it. So I thought, you know what, this would be great to store trays of jewelry in. So I decided that I would redo it also. And last of all, I needed a chair because I planned to use the table that I'd purchased kind of as a desk. So I found this chair at a local thrift store for just $8 because it was on sale for half price. I believe that about covers everything. So now let's go have a look at the result of all of my hard work that I did on creating this room and new storage for my jewelry. I decided to paint the walls in this room a kind of an off-white. This color is called Ivory Tower, and I felt like it really lit the room up. I also switched out the old dark curtains for some lighter curtains that would filter in natural light from outside, because anytime I'm filming, that's one of the most important things is good lighting. At the beginning of this content, I showed some before pictures, and you guys probably noticed this one with the two pieces of wood standing up against the wall. These pieces of wood came from the bed frame that was originally in the room. It was one of those bed frames that has the wood panels on the side. The bed frame broke when we were moving it out of the room, and that was fine because we no longer needed it. But rather than throw it away, we decided to salvage that wood and turn it into shelving. My husband cut the shelving to the right length so that I could have two shelves on each side of the room for more storage. These shelves gave me a great storage area to put some of the props that I use in my content, such as these jewelry busts. And these are also great for storing jewelry on when they're not in use for recording content. I also added items that I had originally had in other parts of the house, such as this cute little pincushion girl that I like to use for storing my stick pin collection, and these milk glass vases that I've always loved to use to store bangle bracelets on. Also added a few decorative items onto the shelves here and there, and then I started choosing things to go onto the walls. When I started putting this room together, I really didn't have a set idea of how I wanted it to look, but as I went further along, I kind of got the idea that it had a little bit of a Victorian look to it. So I started choosing different pictures and pieces of artwork from around my home that fit in with that theme, such as the little lady portraits that you see here. These are called Cameo creations. I have a collection of those, and most of them were in my master bedroom. I've done content on that before, and I'll link it in the description box below in case you guys are interested. I also chose some frames that I had in storage, such as this large center frame. The artwork that was originally in this did not go with this room, so I just popped the back off. I ordered a print that I thought would fit in with it and replaced it. Another item that I decided to source from my master bedroom to go into this room is this padded pushpin board with brooches on it. You can see that I have a lot of different types of brooches displayed on this, and I've hung it on the wall in the area between the shelving as another piece of artwork, because after all, to me, that's what jewelry is. It's miniature pieces of art that you can actually wear, and I felt like this fit in beautifully in this room. Then there was the vintage enamel top table that I mentioned I was going to redo and turn into a dupe that looked similar to what I actually wanted for the room. I put in a lot of hard work, and this is the result. I had taken pictures of the desk that I wanted but couldn't afford, and I decided to go off of those pictures to transform this table into something that looked kind of similar to it. I decided to paint the table black, and I also wanted to add a wooden look to it, so I ordered this contact paper that looked like wood. I decided to put this on the top of the table and the front of the drawer. I plan to go back over this with some clear polyurethane to protect the paper. This is something that I've done in the past when redoing furniture with excellent results. I decided to replace the handle that was in the center of this drawer with these antique looking drawer pulls, and I placed one of them on each side. I felt like this looked a lot better than what was originally on here. For the center, I ordered this furniture embellishment. I painted it black, and I went over it with some gold tone rub and buff. I also ordered some wood furniture embellishments for the front of the legs because I felt like they were missing something. And again, I also painted these black and went over them with some gold tone rub and buff just to give them a little bit of a highlight. This doesn't look identical to the desk that I originally wanted for this room, but as far as dupes go, I feel like it comes pretty close, and I'm very, very happy with the results. This table gives me a great surface to work off of, and I can always move a chair up to it when I want to sit down and use it like a desk. I do have items displayed on top of the table, but that is a simple fix. When I'm using this table to record content, all I have to do is remove these items and then put them back when I'm finished recording. Here are some before pictures once again of the old highboy chest that originally belonged to my daughter. I wanted to show you guys this again so you could see what a difference a little bit of paint and some elbow grease made to this piece of furniture that I decided to turn into a huge jewelry box. And this is the final result of that highboy chest. I decided to paint it the same glossy black as I did the desk. Just like I did with the desk, I decided to add a wood furniture embellishment to this piece also. Once I had the piece finished and I looked at it, I really felt like the top center was missing something. So I took some measurements and ordered this piece, and just like with the desk, I painted it black and I went over it with some gold tone rub and buff just to bring out a little bit more details. I feel like this is exactly what this piece of furniture was missing. I was very tempted to buy new hardware for this piece of furniture. The knobs and the drawer pulls had a lot of wear, a lot of the coating was coming off of them, and I decided that before I bought new hardware, I would try some of the rub and buff on them. This hardware was originally a really bright brassy color, and that's not really what I wanted on this furniture. I wanted something that looked a little bit more antique, something that was a little bit matte or muted, and the rub and buff did exactly what I wanted it to. It saved me money. I didn't have to replace the hardware, and I am very pleased with the way this turned out. Now I'm going to show you guys the way I decided to store my jewelry in this. Instead of using this for its original purpose, which would have been to store clothing, I decided to essentially turn it into a gigantic jewelry box. This chest does have different sizes of drawers. Some of them are deeper than the other ones, and as you can see, there are some of the drawers that are a little bit smaller. I do like to use these stackable jewelry trays for storing my jewelry. You can find these online at a lot of different places, and you can also find them every once in a while at some of the craft stores such as Michael's or Hobby Lobby. The reason I like these trays so much is because one thing, they stack on top of each other, and I can also sort my jewelry by the type of jewelry or whoever the jewelry maker was, or even the era of the jewelry. You can see that quite a few of these trays will fit in these drawers. In the deepest drawers, I can fit anywhere between 12 and 14 trays depending on the depth of the tray. And in the drawers that aren't quite as deep, I can usually fit about 9. So that really is a lot of jewelry. This chest can hold a huge amount. Was I able to fit all of my jewelry in here? No. I am, as most of you already know, a very long time collector, and I regularly buy jewelry. So some of my jewelry, especially the pieces that I wear the most often, are going to continue to be kept in other jewelry boxes that I have in my home. One thing that I did realize when I was trying to move the majority of my jewelry into this room, especially the trays, is that I really do need to downsize, and that is something that I'm probably going to do as I sort through these trays. I'm going to reorganize all of them, and I'm probably going to take out pieces that I know that I will never wear or that my daughter or daughter-in-law would never want to wear. And I may be offering more pieces for sale on my channel. I may be doing a few more sales on a regular basis. So that's something, you guys, if you're interested, keep an eye out for, because I do have some really great pieces of jewelry in here. I've also considered selling on eBay again. I did list some items a while back. They didn't sell, but I may just do an eBay store again. Rather than using trays in the smaller drawers, I decided to use boxes and put sets in those drawers. I felt like this was a better storage option, and that would allow me to fit more jewelry into these drawers. This is a drawer that I opted not to put jewelry in. I feel like I should be able to store some of my recording equipment in these drawers, so I hope to leave at least one drawer for that. However, if I do end up needing all of these drawers for jewelry, the great thing about having all of my items contained in this room is it does have a closet. As you can see here, I've already started putting my jewelry tools, supplies, beads, broken jewelry, things for making and repairing jewelry into the closet. I still have a lot of organizing to do, but once I go through all of this, I think it's going to be a lot more accessible for me, and hopefully it'll make things a lot better organized and easier for me to find. So I still have quite a bit of work to do, but I felt like I was further enough along that I could share this with you guys. I hope you enjoyed this tour of my new YouTube studio and jewelry storage area, and that I was able to give you some ideas for storing your own collection of vintage and antique jewelry. Definitely let me know what you think in the comments. I want to thank you for taking time out of your day to share this content with me. If you haven't already, please give me a thumbs up, subscribe, and ring the bell for notifications on more content about collecting vintage and antique items. Thank you again for watching, and I hope you all have a wonderful day.